Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. Welcome again to Sportsline Trivia, and I am back. Mike Pavlik is with me tonight as we host this little shindig we call Sports Trivia, Sportsline Trivia. Give us a call, we'll talk sports and give you an opportunity to win a prize when it's all over. I took last Monday off. George Guida was here with Mike, and they got me on the telephone to give a prediction about where the Steelers would end up record-wise. And I picked 9-7, and I'm seriously asking if I can vote again. Give me another chance. Anyway, welcome to the program. Here we are again on a night, an evening that we can share some time together on sports. And on a weekend when you lose not only the game, but a couple of key players, and the Pirates' fortunes seem to be heading south a little bit.
A lot.
There's not too much positive to talk about, Mike, so.
The Penguins delivered season tickets today.
That's big news.
Yeah, well, you were looking for something positive. That's what I was going with. The Penguins delivered season tickets today, and training camp opens this week. Positively, the Pirates, I still believe, are going to make the playoffs. They have an 8-game lead with 3 weeks to go. Now, the problem with them right now is that, they need to start playing some baseball and stop feeling sorry for themselves and doing what they do this time of year, and they've irritated me.
Fold the tent.
They've irritated me a little bit right now, but they can still salvage this by starting to play a little bit better, and, I think they've lost the division. I think the division's over now. That this weekend, that the Cardinals needed to be in first place at the end of, after play yesterday, Sunday the 9th. The 8th, whatever it was, that they needed to be in first place because they don't have any more games with the Pirates and the Reds.
Oh my gosh!
So there's no way that St. Louis can make up any ground really. They'd have it in their own hands to do it. Now they play a lot of lousy teams the rest of the way. They only have 3 games left against a team with a winning record. So the Cardinals are in very good shape to win the division. So, but the thing about the Steelers is it was only the first game. So even though it looked bad, I still harken back to 92-10 in 1989 against Cleveland and Cincinnati.
That 52-0 game.
Right, and they still ended up coming back and making the playoffs. So, things can happen. They made a bunch of moves. We'll get to those a little bit later on.
Okay.
But they did. They lost 3 players for the season.
Amazing.
In the first game.
Amazing. And we did not look good at all.
None.
Not even the coach.
Not at all.
Okay. Folks, let's give you rules and regulations on winning here tonight. And anyone who wins a prize in the program is laid off the following week. The Grand Salami Prize, the Mystery Profile, you can only win it once in a calendar month, and you can only try the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month. 15 seconds we give you for the multiple choice, 20 seconds for the Grand Salami, the Mystery Profile. We try to go quickly, clue by clue. First-time callers win more than one prize, and if you've not called the program in over a year, you are a first-time caller, all right? DoubleDribbleBob.com is my website. You can get the answers to the questions there. And I religiously take the questions from the website. And my radio show every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, on WAVL. They're 910 on the dial, and it is now the new WAVL. Okay. So we're going to take a break, and my understanding is that Tony is on the line. Haven't spoken to Tony for a while.
Tony called last week, and I had a feeling he might be calling tonight.
Okay, well.
Had a feeling.
Anyway, so
we're gonna just sit here and let them go.
All right, let's do the break, and we might take a nap while Tony's
I'll be interested.
talking. Back in a moment, folks. Stay with us. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square. It's always great to do business with a car dealer who's been around for a long time, and that's the story of Tower Auto Sales at Freeport Road in Blawnox. Over 40 years in the business at the same location. So next time you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, check in with good folks at Tower Auto Sales, and they'll help you in the selection of your next auto. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Call Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. And again, folks, don't forget you can get the answers to the trivia questions on my website, doubledribblebob.com. Got some interesting news tonight that a lot of people, and it's a big number, when they watch the show from the archives,
okay,
Wednesday night is a huge, huge night.
Wonder why.
For watching the show. They don't wait till Thursday,
but they
go to the computer
and they will watch
and they go when. But the indicators are that Wednesday is a huge night for our show.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have that camel.
The camel?
Yeah, that's on the Geico commercials now.
Oh.
Who's so happy that it's hump day. We're going to have him walk around the studio and walk around us a little bit just to celebrate all of you that are watching on Wednesday.
We now have room. We now have room.
Oh, there's plenty of room for the camel in here now.
Absolutely.
All right.
Tony, welcome to the show. Good evening.
And this morning, the Steelers players showed up as season ticket holders and refund their money and got the rest of the tickets for the year.
There you go. That would have been good news too. Boy, yeah. the people that left yesterday, that halftime a lot of people didn't come back. And I actually heard Joe Starkey last night complaining about Steeler fans that left the game early. Why would you criticize anybody that didn't want to watch that?
Isn't that the truth? If you go to a bad movie, you sit there through the whole movie. No, you leave.
That's exactly what Andrew Filipponi said. He said, you stay all the way through a bad movie and you don't get up and leave? It's like, I don't blame him.
Unbelievable. You know, that one of those guys, did you watch that last night after the news?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't go to bed till 2 o'clock. I was so
me neither. Did you hear what the one guy said? He said, I walked up to the coach and says, how's come that guy's dressed? He said, oh, he's playing. He said, where? I haven't seen him. He's all special teams. Oh, okay. So he said, towards the end of the game, I walked up to him and said, you playing special teams? He said, I haven't been in the game at all.
I haven't played in the game at all. The coach didn't even know who was playing.
No, hey, really got what he deserved. Hiring a lot of these coaches, all the dumb moves they've made, not picking up quality players when, free agency, always looking for the low buck, the scrap. And this team is in such a disarray. It is unbelievable. I mean, lining now they're blaming Redmond for that fumble.
Call timeout.
Rosenberger put it up around his numbers, which is your shoulder pads, and besides that, it was supposed to be 2 running backs in there, and David Johnson ended up in the backfield with Redmond, and he had to tell him to get behind me. And he said he don't know why the Titans didn't bust out laughing because everybody was pointing at me. He's getting the ball because they knew Johnson wasn't going to get the ball.
You've got to call timeout there. And we always say when we talk about these situations, somebody has to be the adult, and that's what the coach's job is. And don't blame Haley for not calling timeout, although I will. It goes from Tomlin to Haley to Ben. That one of those 3 people has to be smart enough to call timeout, especially when the person I was watching the game with sitting next to me said, timeout, timeout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
People,
You're exactly right. And I guess 2 players blame Sanders for flat out not showing up for the game.
I call him whatever means necessary. Emmanuel Sanders is whatever means necessary. Whatever means necessary that ensure he does not make the play, that's what he will do.
Yep.
That he is really now Jonathan Dwyer was my favorite last year because he would always tap out, and I didn't ever want to look at him again. And it's like they had no choice but to bring him back. Who else is out there that they know could run the ball? So that he's back. But Emmanuel Sanders, what did Belichick see to give this guy an offer sheet? Was he just trying to drive up the Steelers' salary cap?
I don't know. I wish he would have went.
I wish you would. Well, believe me, we sat here right on this show, and I know I talked about it with you, and we talked about it with other callers that they just should have let him go. There was
let him go.
There was not a reason.
And they also blamed Danny Smith, special teams, for 2 more dumb flags. This is what they do. They keep making the same. That's what I tell you about exhibition game. I'm not looking who they're playing, what the score. I'm looking for the same thing they do over and over and over. Exhibition, regular season, pickup game, I don't care what they do. It's the same dumb mistakes, and the coach does nothing about it. I don't even know if he knows how to do anything about it, it seems, anymore. The whole thing is awful. And this Haley, forget about him. Comes out the second half and gives that, Hiley, the Pitt running back?
Oh, Stevens howling. He's done
5 straight plays. He didn't do that for Pitt.
No, he backed up Shady McCoy. He would get a series. That basically they would run McCoy 2 series, and believe me, I was season tickets. I unfortunately put myself through that. They were actually pretty good back then. But Shady would get 2 series, and then Lerod would come in and get a series. But believe me, they never gave him the ball 5 straight plays. They would pass, they would mix it up, or do whatever.
Yeah.
He's a little guy. Tony, he's about as big as I am.
I know that. And I've seen him.
He can't take a beating like that. He's a good, and he's a good guy and a good player, and if used properly, could really help you. Unfortunately, he's out for the season, along with Larry Foote and Marquise Pouncey. But and you look and the Pouncey thing. It looked like. Now, I know this wasn't, but it looked like DeCastro did it on purpose.
He put his head down. He didn't even know where he was going.
That's
Number
the
one,
point.
you
They're
can't,
so unsure.
You can't chop a block a player when he's engaged with another player.
They were so unsure of what they're supposed to do still.
I've seen that 5 times. I said, he put his head down. He didn't know where he was going.
That's right.
And by the way, if you go back to the very first, after we had forced, we wind up with a safety.
Right.
They punt.
A gift.
We could have nailed the game right then and there.
It's
going up 8 or 9-0.
I heard a stat today that, and Chuck Knowles used to say, a safety should be a 9-point play.
Right.
It should be you get the 2 and then you get the 7.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, I heard a stat today from Stan Savran, and he said that it's over 90% that a team that gets a safety and takes the ball and goes down and scores the touchdown and get the 9 win the game over 90% of the time.
Yep, we went down, but that was it.
And then because they didn't call timeout and they fumbled.
Yep, they didn't call timeout, wrong personnel in.
Even if
I just love that comment. I don't know why Titans weren't laughing. They all pointed at me. There you go. I mean, this is. You know what? When we were great, we always had the big running back, Franco Harris, Bettis. Where's our big running back?
We don't have one.
That's right.
They
you
decided
have these peewees. That's fine going down the field, but when you get into that red zone, as they call it,
you need to pound.
You need to pound.
That's
right. And we don't pound.
Or you need a passing game that's sophisticated enough to get the ball in the end zone. And
our backs are too much zoom, and not enough boom.
And a lot of Gene Kelly too.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just awful. I mean, I said 5-11. Am I crazy?
You might have to go backwards.
Oh, well, maybe
I'm the crazy one.
Maybe 3, maybe 2. But crap! And it's not going to get any better because I mean, where are you going with this offensive line? I mean, they're not going to be satisfied until they carry Ben out on the stretcher and put some flyers in his hand because he'll be dead.
Yes,
This is ridiculous. You've got $1 million quarterback and a $1.250 line. I mean, come on, come on. I don't understand their thinking down there.
And it's all about the fact that they really can't recognize talent. They drafted.
That's you. What's his name? Corbett or Colbert? I don't know. The thing is helps the draft.
Colbert. Yeah.
Yeah, Colbert. That's it. Colbert. He wouldn't know a player if he ran over him. I got it. And then my boy, when they got Haley, he says, "Are you kidding me?" He says, "Are you going to be disgusted when you see this guy operate?" He says, it's fine to have a running game if you have a line to run a running game, if you have the personnel to run the running game. All right? There was one, for instance, where where I heard where they Sanders, they tried that screen pass, and they put in David Paulson to block. He can't block.
He couldn't get there.
No, that's what I mean. I said he can't block. He whiffed. And Sanders got slammed for 2-yard loss.
The play was so ill-designed that it was too late. There's no way he wasn't fast enough to get out there to block the guy.
We can't even throw screen passes. It seems like we telegraphed everything we do.
That was a terrible
like they know it. Here it comes. We could tell. I don't know.
It looks like
one time.
It looks like the 80s.
We were known as the city of champs. We're going to be the city of chokers.
It looks like the 80s all over again.
Well, we had a nice gift from the Bears yesterday.
Everybody else lost, but they at least lost.
The whole unit lost. Everybody lost.
Yeah, but they at least lost to representative
You're going to go into Cincinnati next week. You ain't going to win that game.
Nah.
How? How if you play like this?
No. No, Tony. If they play like this, then 2-14 is about what they're going to end up.
Well, I don't know who the 2's going to be. They're going to have to pick up a high school team somewhere. I just don't understand. And the Pirates, they're pulling El Foldo.
Tony,
what the heck's going on there? All of a sudden, the pitching staff can't pitch. We're getting injuries. Oh my God!
I got a number.
Never get that one game they need.
I got a number for you, and here's the number. That from last year on August 8th is when they had their high water mark, and they were 16 games over 500. This year, the last time they were at their high water mark, which this year was 26 games over 500, guess what? It was also August 8th, okay? So it's the same day. From that point,
how do you like that?
From that point until now. Now remember, last year was the greatest collapse in baseball history.
I know.
From that point, August 8th, until now, this year, they're only 2 games better than they were last year.
Well, we might set another record. Ah, good. Isn't that nice?
Tony, we got to get to trivia.
Okay, but
got to get to trivia.
I'm cooled down now. Let's go to trivia.
Thanks for that. We're glad we let you get off your chest because.
You want to handle the first one?
I could stay on there all night, but forget about it. I gotta.
Okay,
that's why I was up to 2 in the morning. I was steaming, but you know what? I'm gonna forget about both of them anymore if they keep doing this. Okay, let's go with.
Let's win something.
Let's go with multiple choice this time.
Okie dokie, Tony. Here we go. This will be number 6, and here it is. Name the only major league pitcher with a 20-year or more career with less than 100 wins. This is
with less than 100 years. Okay.
Yes, the only pitcher to pitch 20 years and win less than 100 games.
Wow.
Here are your choices: Jack Quinn, Jamie Moyer, Jesse Orosco, or Satchel Paige. 20 or more years in the major leagues, less than 100.
What was that first guy?
Jack Quinn, I'll give them all. Jack Quinn, Jamie Moyer, Jesse Orosco, or Satchel Paige.
How about Jack Quinn?
It's not Jack Quinn.
Jesse Orosco.
It is Jesse Orosco, the relief pitcher. 24 years.
Holy mackerel.
87 wins. And he's a guy.
That's 4 wins a year?
Yeah, he's a guy that pitched. He had over 1,000 games. I think.
Did he play for the Pirates?
No, he played for the Mets for a million years.
He should be with the Pirates.
He broke all of Tecovi's records for games pitched.
Yeah. One thing before I sign off. My first game with the Steelers was 1946.
Okay.
And these coaching staffs looks worse than 1846 and on coaching staffs.
You
know how bad the Steelers were back then.
We'll have to find out. We'll give a shout out. I'll check it out. Who do we have? We might have been Jap Dowds in 1946 for all I know.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
We'll see you guys. Have a good day.
All right.
You too.
Mike, we go for a break.
Let's do it.
Yep. Break time, and then we'll come back, and we've got another caller. So, folks, get on the horn with us at 724-236-0430. Back in a flash.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
Without exception, everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients, from hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs and hoagies, to calzones and strombolis, wingdings, and more. Check them out. Mattio's Pizza and Subs has it all, including their signature Iron Man hoagie. I'd like to see Paul attack one of those.
Iron, you've done this? Twice.
Mattio's is located 1000 Broadview Boulevard, Natrona Heights, right next to the Justice of the Peace or the District Magistrate's office. Okay?
I have a little bit of an oddity for everybody, Bob.
Okay.
You may like this. The Pirates play the Texas Rangers tonight in an interleague game. They have a 3-game series in Arlington against the Rangers. And after 100, this should tell you how evenly matched these two teams are. Mm-hmm. After 142 games, both teams are 81-61. Isn't that amazing? You can play all that time, and you get down to the end here, and it doesn't say, and the baseball season is so long.
It is.
And it's still hard to separate.
By the way, I was reading something over the weekend that back, gosh, I wish I could think of the exact year. It was either the late 40s or early 50s at the latest. They had voted to go to a 168 game schedule, approved it, and then when it came time, they all backed out of it. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the phones. Mark is on the line with us. Mark, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the program.
Oh, good evening, fellas.
Hi, Mark.
From our rainy, soaked Blawnox.
Yeah,
boy, we're getting floods down here almost. It's pretty bad.
There is some stuff coming through, and it's not moving very fast either. That's the bad
news. Did you guys happen to catch the end of the Jet-Tampa Bay game?
I did.
Was that a legitimate penalty, Mike, near the end that gave him
Boy,
no
it's
goal?
like everybody said that Geno Smith did such a great game in his first game. I said, by what? Getting pushed out of bounds? It was iffy. It wasn't very smart on Tampa's part. I thought, let's put it this way, Mark. I think that if that would have happened in the middle of the second quarter, that a flag would have flown, and if that's the case, then you got to throw it then too. So I really didn't have a big issue with the call. I just, you got to be smarter than that when the guy's running out of bounds. You just got to let him go in that situation. But for everyone that didn't see it, Tampa took that 15-yard penalty. It allowed the Jets to try a long field goal, and they won the game on the last play.
Yeah, that's what I saw the end of it. Changing the subject to get away from the Steelers, since everybody's kind of met. How good is Highlands and Valley this year? I noticed they're both 2-0.
Bob Duval.
Valley is much improved. They've got some speed. They don't throw much. They really don't throw much, but they can. But they rely on speed and the run and a heck of a line. Right, Paul?
When these guys were in 9th grade, they had an undefeated team. And
yeah.
there was, when people saw them play in ninth grade, everybody that saw them knew that this was going to happen. And here's the funny part. The Highlands part of the equation is when they played Highlands, they killed them. And I remember talking to Mark Kazanowicz last year, and he coached that team in ninth grade. And when I told him, I said, well, I can't wait for football next year because Highlands is going to be very good. And he looked at me and said, really? I said, yeah, they are. And he couldn't figure it out because of the way they pounded the Highlands kids when they were in ninth grade. But you could see it building with Highlands, and they're very good too. Now, they have the Murderers Row part of their schedule coming up here, Mark. They play at Franklin Regional this week. They're home to Mars next week, and then at Indiana the week after that. Those are 3 games that they could lose all 3. But if they come out of that, even just winning one of them, I don't know that they lose another one the rest of the way out.
Wow.
So, they're good. They kind of sleepwalked through the first half last game against Hampton, but they got the wake-up call, and they had a big second half and didn't allow Hampton to score. So I think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're conference championship material. I think Valley is. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. They play Franklin Regional this week. We'll see.
Is this the first year in a while where Springdale and Riverview are both 0-2?
Hey,
oh gosh,
it has been, huh?
First of all, Riverview should have never lost game 1.
The opener, yeah, they lost
with Northgate. They had Northgate. First of all, they lost the game in the last 4 seconds of play, but you could just sense it. It's like one of those. When you know that the team that you're rooting for keeps backing up, but you can almost feel
they're playing
that
not to lose.
And nobody goes for the field goal, Mike. It's always pushing for the run or the throw, and obviously you're not going to. You know the run is coming, but they couldn't defend against the run, and they get down and punch it in with 4 seconds left on the clock, and
that's demoralizing. But that can hurt your whole season too. That can really take a lot of wind out of your sails in the first game like that, because these are
so
kids,
many talented
and these are
kids.
These are kids, and they're resilient. That's a great thing about kids, high school kids, is they're resilient. You'll see a game where you think that, oh, how can they come back from that? And the next week they're back there playing great. Right. But a lot of times you lose one like that. That can be tough. I know Leechburg lost their opener similar to that. They lost, I think, on a fumble the first game, and at the very end it backed up like that. So that can hurt you. But you're right, Mark. Especially Springdale. Riverview's kind of hit a plateau here the last few years. But as you know, Chuck's probably last 10 years at Springdale. That's a perennial playoff team every year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ever remember them being 0-2, going back to the 90s when they had their troubles.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, I just hope the Pirates don't continue the change in the subject again, the slide, because it's a shame. Next week, if I get a chance to call, they're either going to be still in the running or the last chance for a wild card.
They need to get home. They're 8 games ahead. Washington's got 4 games at the Mets coming up early this week. It would be very difficult for them not to make the playoffs, but they're backing in right now, and you don't want to do that. And I really think they blew their chance for the division over the weekend. But it's still there. But they got to start playing better. They got to start. Somebody got to take the ball and say, you know what, I'm going to get these guys out, and we're going to win this game.
If it would be between the Pirates and the Reds, they would probably have to play. Is it based on your record? Who's the home team then? Right, Cincinnati would get it.
Well, right now they're tied. But,
okay.
Yeah, and if they end up tied in the standings for the wild card game, then you will go by who won the season series. The Pirates are ahead in the season series against the Reds right now, but they have 6 games left against them coming up. And they did win the season series, even though they lost the 3 games this weekend. They did win the season series against the Cardinals 10-9. So they have that one too. But that's only if these end up in a tie.
Yeah. All right, I better go for multiple choice then, please.
All right, Mark, you get question number 7, and here we go. Who was the first player in National Football League history to record 3 consecutive multi-sack games in postseason play?
Hello.
So, the first player in National Football League history in 3 consecutive postseason games have multi-sack games. And you've got 4 people to consider. Reggie White, Deacon Jones, Lawrence Taylor, Lamar Woodley.
How about Deacon Jones?
No, incorrect. It's our own Lamar Woodley.
How about that? The only non-Hall of Famer on the list.
That's
The
another
other three
fact,
guys are
yeah.
in the Hall of Fame, and Lamar Woodley's the only one that's not. And he sure hadn't played like one the last couple of years.
Oh.
But he would get 2 sacks every playoff game. I think maybe the first.
Well, it was
Before I go,
Jacksonville.
I heard this thing, Dr. Knowledge, a guy on KDK radio.
Right.
He said Red Grange holds the record, I guess. His first 4 carries in a game for, I think, who did he play? I forget what college. Michigan? Or no?
I think Illinois.
Illinois. The first 4 times he carried the ball, he had massive runs for 4 touchdowns.
How about that?
Like 90-some yards. It was just on the other day. I don't know if you had a chance to look it up. It was, I think, 1925 or 7, somewhere in there.
Well,
They said that's a statistic probably that could never be broken. For each possession, the first play they handed to him, he went for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And it was like he ended up with 200 and some yards that day.
We're going to be doing a feature on him on my radio show coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't know the exact Saturday.
Okay.
But they talk about how he kind of negotiated his professional career based on the fact that in those days, people were going to college games. They were avoiding professional games. College was the big thing in those days.
Yeah.
But when he played, they were coming from everywhere. So he wanted a nice chunk of the house. So, but we'll be talking. Anyway,
well, the pros, in those days only made like 25 or 50 bucks a game or something like that.
You played college football, then you went off and got a job. That's what
Yeah.
happened, yeah.
Okay, you guys have a good evening. Hopefully I can call next week.
But that was,
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Dr. Knowledge, and of course his faithful sidekick, misdemeanor.
misinformation.
Yeah, right, misdemeanor. Anyway, here we go. This is from Grantland Rice. You ready?
Okay.
A streak of fire, a breath of flame, eluding all who reach and clutch. A gray ghost thrown into the game that rival hands may never touch. A rubber-bounding, blasting soul whose destination is the goal. Red Grange of Illinois. Isn't that awesome?
I
guess
love
that's
it.
why Grantland Rice was like one of the great sports writers of all time. Nobody write. Ron Cook doesn't write like that now. No.
All right, folks. We've got, I think the limo man's on the line with us. Bruce, how you doing tonight?
Doing okay. I wish the business was better. The economy is terrible.
Well, that can be, yeah.
Well,
It is the worst in 29 years. And by the way, Ian Ingalls and Dan Faust now have your doubledribblebob.com.
I thank you for that.
Yeah.
We caught their act, of course.
Yes, we did.
And the
You know,
Hall
I-
of Fame was honoring Joe Morgan on Friday, and his statue is joining Joe Nuxall, Ted Klaszewski, Frank Robinson, and Ernie Lombardi.
Those are good ones. Yes, at the self-proclaimed Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
And did you ever hear of a football mom by the name of Joan Darrell Ripple?
No.
Yeah, she was a big football fan, and she passed away unfortunately the other day. She was during a high school season with her son. She died of cancer in Fort Myers.
Oh, that's too bad.
And Tommy Morrison died.
You know, I saw that. I wanted to make mention of that, too. And he had ended up with a star-crossed life after he had burst onto the scene. I believe he won the heavyweight championship for a brief time, back when boxing kind of mattered.
Terry Bradshaw, 65.
Oh, Terry had a birthday. Gee, 65. For goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, somebody else you probably have heard of, Hall of Famer Magic Johnson.
I've heard of
54.
I have heard of Magic Johnson, yes. He owns the
Yeah.
Dodgers now. He's very happy, the Dodgers. How about this? The 3 first-place teams in the National League going into this past weekend, the Braves, the Pirates, and the Dodgers were all swept.
Yeah, how about that?
That's out there.
Yeah. In the Post-Gazette, they noted, it said, how good were they, like Hugh Green, Randy McMillan, Mark May,
Ah, you're singing
Ricky
my song.
Jackson, Greg Molnar.
Meisner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're singing my song there.
Carlton Williamson, Russ Grimm from Scottsdale,
Scottsdale, Southmoreland.
Bill Neal, Benji Pryor, Lynn
Valley High
Thomas,
School.
Jeffrey Boransky, and Rick Tricano.
Piano, yeah. That's my Pitt Panthers. That's the Pitt Panthers I remember.
Yeah, and Mark May was terrific.
Mark May was outstanding.
And
They
so
had a
was
great
Russ
team.
Grimm with the old Hogs.
They had, especially when Cheryl was there, after Majors had left and they had already won. And Cheryl came in, they went 11-1 3 years in a row.
And I mentioned on WJFK with Sonny and Sam, the doubledribbleBob.com on live radio.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
They'll
How
be
about
working
some
tonight. The Skins
multiple
have a game.
choice? Robert, I think it's your turn.
I think it's mine, actually.
Is it? Okay.
I'm up. And we have
All
a
right.
baseball question for you. I think you can get this one. Who was the first pitcher to be an all-star game starter in both leagues? Who was the first pitcher to be a starter on both the American and National League All-Star teams? Was it Vida Blue, Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, or Randy Johnson? First man.
I'll take a guess, Randy Johnson.
It is not Randy Johnson. It was the other lefty on the list, though. It was Vida Blue, who I remember started the All-Star game in 1971 at Detroit as a member of the Oakland A's, and then he would have started the All-Star game in the National League pitching for the Giants.
San Diego.
All right. Let me give you my thing for tonight.
Check it out.
We will.
For my sweetheart, Rachel Catalano. There's a long drive in deep right center field, and this ball is out of here for Rachel.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, Limo.
Good luck, Limo Man. All right, where are we? Do we owe for a break? I guess we do. Mike and I will come back momentarily.
And we're going to look up Vida Blue.
Let's look up Vida Blue.
I have the
Google
Google
have
machine.
some problems, by the way.
He did, but he seems to be doing okay now.
He
was in the midst of the drug trials in Pittsburgh. And
was also, hopefully, well, it was Charlie O. Finley,
Yes.
who said, please change your name to True. So we can call you True Blue.
Exactly.
And it didn't work.
Well, they had Blue Moon Odom, too, if you remember correctly.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Break time. Mike and I are coming back. Stay with us.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
3 indoor showrooms at Tower Auto Sales makes it easier for you. Full service facility with an experienced staff. They have all makes and models available and Lexus products as well. Tower Auto Sales. Call Mike Fanto. He says, just buy it. Tower Auto, Freeport Road in Blawnox at 412-828-6202. Welcome back, folks. Don't forget my sports history and nostalgia program Saturday on WAVL at 10 a.m. 30 minutes of sports history and odd and unusual stories. Michael?
We've looked up Vida Blue. He started the 1971 All-Star Game, as I mentioned, pitching for Oakland. And the 1978 All-Star Game, as Paul out there mentioned, in San Diego, pitching for the San Francisco Giants. But I got to give you the trade.
Okay.
He was... First of all, in June 15th of 1976, the Yankees bought him off the Oakland A's, and it's just a straight cash homie deal. And Commissioner Bowie Kuhn said, no, we're not going to have that because what Charlie Finley was trying to do was sell his players. Here's the trade that ended up happening on March. This is spring training in 1978. This is the trade between Oakland and San Francisco. He was traded by Oakland to the Giants. Vida Blue to San Francisco for Mario Guerrero, Gary Alexander, Dave Haverlow, Phil Huffman, John Henry Johnson, Gary Thomas, and Alan Worth, and $300,000.
Oh, my.
How about that,
And you know
huh?
what? And Charlie Finley, the 1 year that they won the World Series, he got them the cheapest World Series rings that you'd ever want to see. They couldn't believe when they got the rings and they're looking at them. Most of the players, when they left the stadium, the locker room that day, had dropped them in the garbage can on the way out. Today it would be a collector's item. If anybody has one from,
Now
I don't remember if it was 73 or what year.
Yeah, they won in 72, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Did
But
you
which
happen,
one of those?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you happen, speaking of rings,
Okay.
did anyone happen to notice, if you happen to be watching Countdown on ESPN yesterday when Ray Lewis came out, did you happen to notice the Super Bowl ring that he had on from obviously what the Ravens had just won this past year?
No.
It was so big. It was so big that it wouldn't fit on his ring finger this way, that he had to have it on the middle finger, and it's like this big.
That's
It
unbelievable.
was just diamonds like this big around on his middle finger, because when you looked at it, it was like, oh, I wonder why he was wearing it there. There's no way he could have fit it on his ring finger. It's like, who actually wear? And they get them and they just put them away because they're worth so much money, and nobody. Well, Ray had his on yesterday. I'll give him that much. But I thought that was unbelievable.
One of the Green Bay Packers from the early 60s, traveling by plane, had his Super Bowl ring on, goes into the restroom, washes his hands, had taken the ring off, gets back to his seat, and then it hits him like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, my Super Bowl ring is in the bathroom. When he gets back there, the room is empty and the ring is gone. Years later, this is Jerry Kramer.
Okay.
Gets a phone call, a hot tip, that an auction, it's about to go out for auction. He gets a hold of the authorities, and they go down, and the guys plead, we just made a deal for it. There's nothing.
And the thing about them is they're easily identifiable because they're personalized.
Yeah.
So it says it'll have Jerry Kramer 64 on it, or whatever.
There's something on the inside of the ring.
It'll be engraved
as well.
with his number or name or whatever, and they could say, look, if it's an authentic ring, it can be authenticated. It's his ring. Give it back.
All right, we do have another caller. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and welcome to Sportsline Trivia.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Mike. How you guys doing?
Hi, Chris.
All right, Chris, we lost your call earlier.
I was in an elevator, that's why.
Ah, that'll do it.
I think you know where I was in an elevator at, but I don't want to say right now.
Okay.
Okay, my comment is I think the Steelers are going to have a poor season this year because, didn't look too hot at the preseason. It's just carrying on over that. I don't think they're going to have a chance at the playoffs.
I wonder if you were among those who remember the season in which they started 0-4 and went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
I'm glad you're not saying the same thing, that you didn't say the same thing then as you're saying. You're giving up after one game. Although I do admit, and I agree with Mike, not only did we lose the game, we lost some key players for the rest of the year, and
here's the stat.
It's tough.
Chris made a good point about the preseason. We talked about it, and I, of course, laughed it off when I made my pick. I didn't want to hear it. But I heard this stat yesterday, that of the teams that go 0-4 in the preseason, only 16% of them go on to the playoffs. So there's something there. Now, I remember the Colts, when they won theirs with Peyton Manning, they went 0-5. They played the Hall of Fame game, lost it too, and then he didn't play any of them, I don't think. They went 0-5, but they won the Super Bowl. But it's and it's what Tony said earlier there, Chris. That it's the way it all looked more so than what the record was, and the same mistakes being made over and over again. And they come out there in the first game, and they look like they didn't have a clue what they wanted to do.
If anything, I'm hoping for a good Penguin or Duquesne Dukes or. Duke series are a good basketball series.
We can still we'll get Mike and Mason on the Dukes this year. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. As a freshman at Drake last year, he was in the top 10 in the nation in three-point shooting percentage.
He's amazing.
So he can shoot the ball, and it would get him healthy and get him out there. I believe he's gotten his waiver from the clearinghouse, the NCAA, because he had to transfer due to medical reasons, that he's going to be able to go out and play this year. So now we just got to get him healthy enough to get him out there. So maybe the Dukes, and let's not give up on the Buccos yet. Geez, I mean, they got one.
I'm not giving up on the Buccos. That's far from my mind right now. But I just think Pitt's going to have a poor season.
Yeah.
I know Penn State's not going to be able to do anything anyway.
I'll get a look at Pitt this week. I didn't get a chance to see the game last week.
Yeah, they lost that game, but I mean,
it was pretty ugly. Yeah, but
it was pretty ugly.
Yeah,
and that Valley game against Burrow, that was an ugly game too.
Not a good game for the Burrow Bucks, no. But
that was a real ugly game.
Valley is good, and that's the one thing you gotta come back from games like that. If you're on the Burrow, looking from the Burrow side of things, is that you lose to a good team like that, you have to understand what's happened, understand that a team was better than you that night, and then you got to get better from it. And I think Burrow is still a playoff contender for this year, and hopefully they'll be able to get there.
Burrow always is a contender. I mean, no matter what, they always seem like they get into the playoffs.
Yeah, ever since we left school, they didn't do anything when we were there.
No.
No.
You're listening to two Burrow graduates.
Two Burrowites here. What can I say? With my Highland shirt on.
We're the same year, in fact, Bob.
Yeah, we were. We did. And what happened, Chris? The year after we graduated, they went to the playoffs.
Right.
Tom Brown. Tom Brown was terrific. He went to the NFL. Then no wonder they went.
Yeah. All right, Chris, let's do some triv.
Multiple choice, please, Bob.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you've got question number 9 in rotation. So let's take a look at it. What major leaguer had the most career home runs without ever hitting 30 in a season? Again, what major leaguer had the most home runs without ever hitting 30 in a season? And your options are Mel Ott, Al Kaline, Ty Cobb, and Rico Carty.
I'm going to go with Ty Cobb.
Well, you're wrong. We're 0 for 4 tonight.
I loved Rico.
The answer was Al Kaline, and if I'm not mistaken, Mike, he ended his career with 399 home runs.
Looking right here. In 1966, he hit 29. And also in 1962, he hit 29. And 3 times, he hit 27. Best thing about Al Kaline?
Consistent.
Started playing at the age of 18, right out of high school, never spent a day in the minor leagues, and ended up with 3,007 hits. What a great player.
Yeah.
And is a god in Detroit. And will sit in spring training and sign autographs all day long, too.
But he did have 399? Is it what it was?
399.
Amazing,
Chris.
Chris.
In the home run department, he said he was going to retire. He was 39. He had spent 22 years in the major leagues. It was time for him to get out. And he had got that one world championship in 1968. So he is a Tiger legend, Al Kaline.
Okay. Thanks, Chris, for the call.
By the way, if you want me to, I'll give the doubledribblebob.com over to AGH over here.
You do that.
All right. Thank you,
I'll
Chris.
talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Final break, and we're going to go to Paul in the audience here tonight, see what's on his mind. We've not been able to shut him up all night.
We're going to find out where Paul's going for his next game. So.
All right. Back in a flash. Stay with us. This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Wanted to mention that a couple of the prizes we gave away this past week. We had a Lenovo pizza that went to our next participant here on the show tonight, although he's not eligible tonight to win. But last week, he won a coupon from Lenovo Pizza, and they're on Pittsburgh Street in Springdale, and they do have some great pizza. And Dave from Cheswick, Rich from Cheswick last week was also a winner, and we sent to Dave, come on, Robert. I'll come up with it after this conversation.
I can't help you. I don't know.
You don't know because I'm the one that mailed it out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Before we get to Paul, okay, maybe you'll think about this while I'm doing this. With the Steelers' injuries that we mentioned about Larry Foote, Marquise Pouncey, and LaRod Stevens-Howling are all out for the season. They signed back Jonathan Dwyer, who they had just cut with the final cut. They signed a center that was with Tennessee. His name is Fernando Velasco. He went to Georgia. He started all 16 games for them last year, most of them at center. He was bad enough to get cut, and they got new people, so I don't know what that means. And here's the one that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. That Sean Sweezum was injured in pregame warm-ups yesterday. They signed Shane Graham, the old Bengals kicker, who was in camp with the Browns this year and was cut on the last cut for them too. So they're going to go forward this week with two kickers on their roster. Shane Graham, a veteran kicker that's been bounced around here toward the end of his career. So that's another one to keep an eye on. What's going to happen with the kicking situation? Everything's just a mess right now.
How would you like to be in Paul's up here now? So I'm going to ask him first of all. The opening kickoff taken by Tennessee, and I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh, Darius Reno, the old West Virginia Mountaineer. That was nice move on his part.
He comes out across the goal line. Mike, you got to know where your feet are.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes back, and just far enough that it's a safety for the Steelers to start the game. And if we could have only scored on the next drive, I think we would have buried. Not really bare, but it would have
really
picked things up.
Do you think that might have been the fastest points ever scored in an NFL game? 3 seconds.
3 seconds into it, could be.
Look it up.
So what'd you think?
Well, I think I didn't see it till like later in the day, and that definitely was a safety. So.
Well, there was no doubt about it, but I mean, when he got back to the bench, there was no place to hide.
Yeah.
So what was he thinking about?
Who knows? It's probably the jitters, the first game.
First play, first game, rookie.
He'll never forget it.
Yeah, remember when Barry Foster, you guys remember Barry Foster in San Francisco forgot to actually get the ball?
Right.
And he left it there, and it was a kickoff, and it was a live ball, and the 49ers picked it up. And then I remember that was Chuck Knowles last year. That was Barry Foster's rookie season.
Seems like yesterday.
It seems like a long time ago, too.
Well, Terry Bradshaw's opening game, and I was there, they played the Houston Oilers.
Okay.
September of '70.
Three Rivers.
And he went into he was in the end zone to pass, and he actually left the end zone, put his leg a good foot behind the end line.
Oh, did he really?
And they called 2. And they said that Terry was so
nervous.
He was so into what he had done wrong that at the end of the game, after he had showered and did this, whatever he had to do, he got out to the parking lot where his pickup truck was, and he sat in the truck and he cried. I mean, that's Terry.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times recently. I think there was one in preseason. I think it might have been Geno Smith did it for the Jets. Just recently stepped out of the back, and the most famous one was Dan Orlovsky. And I think he was playing for the Lions at the time. He played at UConn. Matt Bonoslawski backed him up before he became the starter up at UConn. And he did it too. He ran out of the back of the end zone big time. I mean, by big, large steps. It was like almost like he ran around the goalpost to come back around and look for somebody to throw to. It's like you wonder what they're thinking. But could you imagine though, being in a position like that, and especially in an NFL game, all the stuff that's going through a quarterback's head, especially a guy that doesn't play all the time, especially a guy that's a backup that gets a very rare opportunity to get out there to play. And you have to, and it's not like Peyton Manning when everything's just like this. And Peyton Manning has this unbelievable mind to process what he sees. And you know, and he gets, and Orlovsky get hammered for that. And it's like, I can only imagine what's going, like you said with Terry, his first game. And rookies didn't always start then, Bob, in 1970, you know. They'd sit for 5 years and learn the trade. And now you can't do that because the contract's going to expire and you got to put them out there. But, man, that's a lot to process and a lot to have on your plate.
Yeah, that reminded me of the first two kickoffs in the '82 playoff game against San Diego. One was a touchdown and the other... I
was at that game. That literally... The best game I've ever seen. The Steelers, the best football game I've ever seen in person. The Steelers played the Chargers in a playoff game, and it was a strike-shortened season.
Right.
So a lot of the season ticket holders had given their tickets back because they were mad because there was a strike. So they put a public sale of playoff tickets on sale. The Chargers came to Pittsburgh, which would turn out to be two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Terry for the Steelers and Dan Fouts for the Chargers. And so we got tickets, went to the game. Parked at the Northside Postal Facility in the back for free. You could still do that before there was a policeman that would sit there and make sure you no park back here anymore.
Oh, was that you?
There were a lot of people that did that, believe me. And we parked there, and they kicked it off, and it was James Brooks, who was a running back for the Chargers, who was very good and a terrific player, and he fumbled it. The ball bounded into the end zone, and Guy Ruff was the Steeler that returned it. It's on YouTube.
Yes.
I've seen it now with Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. It's on YouTube. And literally, Bob, the upper deck at Three River Stadium was rocking. It was so loud. The towels were going. 7-0 Steelers. Anderson kicks the extra point. They kick off again. And the same guy, James Brooks, goes, and he fumbled it again.
Ooh.
And Dick Enberg's going, can you believe, you know, and they recovered it this time. And the Chargers ended up just in an unbelievable game by Fouts.
Right.
Winning 31-28, knocked the Steelers out. It was a great game. It's on YouTube. If folks are bored and you have a chance and you want to look at it, you got to find it. It's great.
Yeah, as for the Pirates, think of the
1982. 82, and the game was played in January of '83.
Right. As for the Pirates, think of the good side. When they visit the Rangers this week, Madison Square Garden is a smaller building. They'll be able to hit more home runs down there.
The ball does fly. The temperature's probably in the 90s too. It was hot in St. Louis this week. That didn't help them. But they get the DH working. Garrett Jones is in the lineup DHing tonight. Hopefully they can just do something. They're just falling apart again, and it's the same old story 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Then in high school football, Valley's more improved than last year, and I'll be checking out Barrow this weekend. So
Summit Academy is
playing Summit this week.
Summit Academy, and you know, when you think about a school like Summit Academy, this is for adjudicated youths who the coaches don't know from one year to the next who's coming back.
Right.
So, you know, you could have a kid that's on the straight and the narrow, and he leaves the school, you know, to go to another institution, and you got a hole to fill. These guys work miracles at times, Paul, so I might see you at the game then Friday night. So that'll be my next one, too. So anyway, folks, hey, we got to wrap it up.
We do. Is it time to go? Paul can't do trivia tonight.
Yeah.
No, I'm in
Paul, you're eligible next week, but not for the...
not for page 2.
Right.
Page 2?
Not for the mystery profile, but
there
anyway. Okay.
Okay, have a good day.
So, thanks, Paul.
Thanks for
and we're going to say goodnight.
It was say sayonara for the season.
I have a chicken pot pie to go home to.
Oh, I ate before.
I have a chicken pot pie.
So I usually on a Sportsline day, if I eat before, you folks that watch on Thursday, we tape on Monday night at 6 o'clock. So it's kind of right in the dinner hour, and it's kind of hard to do dinner at the normal hour. Bob is being can wait. I can't. I have to eat before. So I eat before, and I will just snack on something light later on with football and Buccos.
Folks, we'll compare menus next week as well. Same time, same station. Thank you for watching. I'm Bob Tatter.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Torrento and Natrona Heights, Matteo's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.